to contrary belief, Mount Rushmore is in South Dakota, not Washington. Just in case.
Keystone, South Dakota, to be exact.
Yeah, Keystone, South Dakota.
It is a memorial, but it is not in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. Yes, it's got, but
And it is a huge mountain.
Yeah.
But
handmade or handcrafted, I guess. But not in Washington.
sculpted.
Hand sculpted in South Dakota. And then there's also Crazy Horse, but that hasn't had much progress in the past.
He's got a face now. That's about it, though.
He's had a face.
Yeah, for a long time he did not.
Oh.
That's been going on my whole life, and he finally has a face now.
In his lifespan, there was no face
Right
in the
around here.
beginning-ish. In my lifespan, there was.
If you look, it'll be up, but it'll be a nice profile view of George Washington's face right about there.
Da, 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 da. George Washington. That's like cool though. Like that's a big rock. You're telling me they like obviously they blew stuff up and got it to be that big rock, but that's a mountain.
Took them years to do that.
Right. It's a whole mountain that they made faces into.
The building that was my junior high school was where it was the President's Lodge when they were building that.
Dakota?
Yeah, Dakota Junior High was the President's Lodge when they were building Mount Rushmore. That's where the president stayed.
Dakota's name has changed many times.
I think it's Rapid City High School again now.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was when your grandma went there, Rapid City High School.
Grandma Cheryl?
Yes.
Oh.
And then it became Central High School, where you and I both graduated, because they needed two schools, so they made Stevens High School and Central High School. Now they're going to have a third out in the valley.
No, there's already 3.
High schools?
Yeah. Central High School,
Yeah.
Stevens High School,
Yeah.
and then Rapid City High.
Well,
that's Douglas.
Well, Douglas is out in Box Elder. Rapid City High School is going to be kind of an alternative sort of thing. So, anyhow, they're going to put one in the valley because Rapid City has grown. When I was a kid in Rapid City, South Dakota, there was only 40,000 people, and now there's over 80,000 people. So it's double in size in my lifetime. Now, the population of the metro area, including the valley of Box Elder and Blackhawk and all the stuff that's around Rapid City, we're 120,000.
That's a lot of people.
Which is probably the population of our neighborhood in Las Vegas.
Probably. The population of, well, my whole family went to high school there, but my high school, because I was the last to go, is the size,
It's the 11th largest city in South Dakota during the day when school is in session.
Yeah.
That's how many people. That's why they got to build a third school finally.
Yeah, I graduated with a big class, and it took hours.
I want to say there was 308 or 508. I can't remember. I'd have to look at my thing. I think it was 308 people graduated in my class.
Mine was more. A lot of people had kids around the same time, apparently. It was a craze, a trend, a fad.
Right up around the corner here, not too far, there's a fun little campground called Horse Thief. Nice little lake. Good fishing. Fun, just a fun little campground.
Yeah, currently we are strolling through the hills on these wee horses over that way.
Well, we'll come up, when we come around the corner here, you'll see the lake and the diving rocks, and we used to camp out here. It's right here. So.
Lake.
Diving rocks.
Yeah.
There you go. Here's a good view, little view of it.
Bella would totally slam on her brakes here, but she'd be able to pull over here instead of on the side of the road to freak out about rock jumping, cliff jumping.
And then the campground is just right up here. But we've camped here numerous times.
Yeah. Used to come out here every summer, every weekend, because obviously parents had jobs. I did not. I was a child. But
Lots of fun hiking and trailheads and just all kinds of camping, everything in these hills. It's awesome. I love it up here.
It's definitely fresh. There's many hiking trails, random turn-off points that you kind of just... There's parking by these places, just not like a parking lot. If you ever decide to come out to the Black Hills to hike, don't expect fancy parking, because most of the time it's just some gravel, and yeah, you just kind of park your car and leave it.
And if you're coming out to hike, I don't know what your stance is on protecting yourself, but either come in a group,
Bear mace,
or bring something to protect yourself, because there are wild animals in these hills.
Most of the time they see you, but you don't see them, which is nice-ish.
Yeah, the mountain lions, there's a lot of them, but they'll leave you in groups.
Yeah. Mountain lions, if you're bigger or pretend you're bigger than they are, then they're like, they don't mess with you. But even aside from just mountain lions, there's bobcats and stuff out here.
Well, and if you have children, and if you're a family hiking with children,
keep your children in the middle.
Keep your children close to you, because when mountain lions hunt, they hunt for what they can take easy, and they don't bother humans much. There has not been any that I know of yet mountain lion attacks in the Black Hills.
Well,
other than pets and stuff like that, but
we lived here for 21 years. And
I lived here for 50 years.
We would go camping every weekend, and I never got taken. And I was a small child.
Did you ever see a mountain lion?
No.
I've only seen 2 in my whole life up here, but they are everywhere.
I saw one in the zoo. You poked it.
I petted it.
No, I wouldn't call that petting.
Oh, I petted it twice.
Poked it. You freaked him out. Pissed him.
Yeah, he didn't like it. That's for sure.
Full warning for anyone coming up to the hills: if you get motion sickness, take some Dramamine, because these roads are weavy. They go with the flow of the land, not the shortest distance. So there's turns and curves, just because you gotta there's constantly rock formations and stuff that are just in the middle, random drop-offs where if you're afraid of heights, you probably shouldn't look over those. But there's a lot of cool stuff out here. There's a wolf sanctuary out by Keystone. Obviously, you've got your hiking spots. In the hills, anything is technically a hiking spot, but for safety reasons, it is best to stick to the pre-labeled trails, not make your own.
I highly recommend Iron Mountain Road, Pigtails, Needles Highway. Very scenic, very, very beautiful territory up here.
The Devil's Bathtub was a fantastic hike. Just wear water shoes. And be careful of moss. That is a very big thing to keep an eye out for, especially if you're hiking here. If you have to trudge through water, make sure it's not fast running, because you're most likely going to get swept.
You won't get swept far, but you'll get swept.
And it'll be scary. You're going to cry. Someone's going to laugh at you for crying. And it's just not going to be a good situation.
And then once you're safe, everyone's going to laugh at you.
Yeah.
That's just how this works.
Yeah. Everybody's going to panic at first, freak out. Then all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh, I can stand up. It's fine. And you're going to be wet. You're going to be angry. Everybody's going to laugh at you. And then years down the line, it's going to be a funny story. But at first you're going to... Definitely a great place to go. And this isn't very far from Rapid City itself. It's about... How long of a drive?
Half hour.
About 30 minutes, depending on traffic, time of year, that kind of a thing. There are stops along the way to getting here from Rapid City, like Reptile Gardens and Bear Country, Old McDonald's Farm. That out of all 3 of those, I think Bear Country gets the most busy, because they get the baby bear cubs.
It gets really busy during the summer too.
Reptile Gardens is also a very popular... Well, it's not very often that you see an alligator or crocodile in South Dakota. So people like to go visit.
The Cosmos is another one of those places. They have them all over the country where water can flow uphill, and all that craziness, but
a tennis ball on a slanted rack is just sitting there, and there's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, it's supposed to be magic.
It's not magic, it's physics.
Well, it's optical illusions, that's what it is, but it's still cool. It's a lot of illusions in physics, and
yeah. Out here, though, you're very limited on your field trips. So our field trips were generally all of those places listed. I've seen them hundreds of times in my lifespan, just because there's not a whole lot to do here, but there's a lot. If you're a nature person, this is a really good place to go, because that's
currently
what it is.
Right here, somewhere between Keystone and Hill City, we have 0 cell service, so you're not going to get bothered by a lot of people.
I don't have cell service now, so we'll have to...
It'll pop back up because we're getting closer to Hill City now, so it'll pop back up, but...
Yeah, that's another thing, is if you are a clumsy person or a generally joking around person, this is not the type of place you want to do dumb stuff, because bits and pieces of it, you're not going to be able to call for help.
Yeah, if you're prone to getting hurt.
There are
a lot of the rocks are granite, and they're sharp.
You got cactuses that kids really enjoy stepping on. There's rattlesnakes that just show up. Porcupines, skunks. There's a lot. It's the woods. It's the hills. You're gonna have animals. It's a cow farm. Don't have cows outside.
Lived up here my whole life. Never been bitten by a rattlesnake. I've been scraped up. You fall down. You get wet. It is what it is.
It's a good place to go, especially if you're into that. I mean, growing up here and then going to Vegas is a really big culture shock, because there's nowhere near as many trees, there's no green, there's hiking trails, but it's like 1 billion degrees outside, so nobody wants to go and do that. Plus it's all desert. You don't get...
Plus there's more than 3 times more people in Las Vegas Metro.
I just saw a woodchuck.
Las Vegas Metro has more than 3 times more people than all of South Dakota. So yeah, you'll run into far less people out here.
Are there woodchucks here?
Yes.
I think I just saw one.
Woodchucks and...
Wait, it might have been a prairie dog.
Oh, we have our own lane.
I can't remember what they're... I saw a fluffy animal, okay? A rodent.
Yeah, I have cell service again.
Woohoo! Cell service. Yeah, it's a very scenic place to go if you're looking to get lost in the world, but not like, oh my god, I'm gonna die kind of lost. Just like I need a break to not talk to anybody. There are cabins out here. There's Custer State Park is filled with cabins. The only thing you have to worry about is that your cabin door opens out and there could very well be a bison just sleeping on your front porch.
Yeah, and they're not the nicest animals in the world.
No.
Another thing too is you jump on I-90 when you're in Rapid City, and you go an hour to the east, and you're right at the Badlands National Park too. So that's really cool too. So
yeah, Rapid City's kind of smooshed in between 2 national parks, which is great, because I mean, there's never not anything to do. You're just gonna end up doing the same thing numerous times, but hiking's good for the soul. Just not good for the bones.
Yeah, I like it up here. Most of this air is the fresh air. I love it. Oh.
The only thing I don't about being out here is during the summer, if you're camping and you have a campfire, if it's been a good season, like a good wet, rainy, snowy season, you're gonna get hit by pine beetles. And pine beetles are so unbelievably mean. They will turn a grown man
into a little girl.
I had one in a plastic little tub, a little cookie tote, and I poked it, because that's what kids do when you find a bug. It started making an insane alien-like noise, and it pinched the bucket, and you could hear it go ka-tunk through the bucket.
Yeah, they have have big pinchers. If they land in your hair, they wind themselves up into a knot. They're hard to get out. Oh, I hate them.
And then they keep pinching you. They're mean.
Which, if you've shown just selfie view,
yeah.
If you show anything else, you see any of these like these that are not green, they're brown. That's a pine beetle tree that's been killed by a pine beetle, and they're around.
There's a lot of green right now, which is good because that means they're not being as much of a pain.
Well, the forest department is
because they're
an invasive species. Yeah. And they're killing the trees. And that's why they cut all those dead ones out.
When they do that, they start putting fire bans on stuff because there's too many dead trees around.
Fire danger is moderate today.
Yeah, right now it's at moderate for fire danger, which you'll see those signs with, what's his name?
Smokey the Bear.
Smokey the Bear, that makes sense. Smokey the Bear just kind of kicking it in the entrance cities and stuff so that you can kind of see where you're at. And if you have a fire, the campground people will pull through all the time to make sure that if you have a fire, they put it out. They won't leave until it's out. They are, and it's good. They take very serious actions when it comes to fires when you're not supposed to. Especially if you've been told more than once, you're likely to get kicked out of your campground. And which is good because don't do that. Don't be stupid. You don't want to be responsible for, especially somewhere as beautiful as the Black Hills, you don't want to be responsible for burning it down, killing hundreds, thousands of animals, and then potentially burning down someone's house because they are scattered all over the place in the hills.
A lot of the hills is forest land, so it doesn't have houses on it, but there is a bunch of private land in the hills, and it's
cabins, other campers. It puts a lot of people at risk when you decide that you don't want to listen.
Yeah, and in Custer State Park, they have cabins that are owned by they're privately owned cabins, and I want to say they do 100-year leases there. A friend of mine has a cabin in there.
For today's coffee, we did
scooters.
Scoot and boot scooters. She called it a caramelizer. I thought it was a caramelicious. But they have extra large sizes now. I did not know this. We only have 3 in Vegas. I think we only have 3 here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Three.
That's kind of crazy that Rapid City has the same amount of a coffee shop as a Las Vegas.
Yeah, but Rapid City doesn't have any Dutch Bros. We have, 5 Starbucks in Rapid now? 6. If you don't count the like the one in the hotel, the one in the
Target,
other hotel, the one in Target. If you count just the stand-up ones, there's 5, I think.
The one in the Alex Johnson counts as an actual Starbucks, though, because you can use points and stuff. But
I don't know,
there's a lot of coffee shops here.
Coffee shops, Starbucks in Las Vegas?
There's a lot. I don't know about 100,
there's
but
30 friggin' Dutch Bros.
There's definitely way more Dutch Bros in Las Vegas than there is in South Dakota because there's none in South Dakota.
The closest one is Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Yep. So if anybody's watching, those are Dutch Bros.
All right.
Okay. Until next time. Good noon, steamers. This was our first YouTube video. So we forgot to film the intro, we forgot to film the outro, and a few other things. The audio does cut out a few times, which I apologize for. I was recording on my phone, and we lost service a few times. But we do still hope that this was an enjoyable video, and we hope you follow along for more quests and adventures. I will be getting into gaming videos shortly. Hopefully I can get actual equipment for that one. But until next time, stay curious, stay caffeinated, and keep the story going.